Hey everyone. The economy can feel like this huge, super complicated thing that's almost impossible to get your head around, right? Well, what if I told you it's actually a lot like a giant stage play? Seriously. It's got a whole cast of characters, a pretty wild plot, and even different sets. So come on, let's pull back the curtain and see what's really going on.
So, let me just start by asking you this. What could you, yes you, possibly have in common with a farmer working out in a field, or say, the massive company that made the very phone you might be holding right now? Well, the answer is kind of simple. You're all actors. You're all performing in the same, massive production. You're all part of the economy.
Okay, so every good play needs a premise, a core idea that gets the whole story moving. So what's the basic plot of this economic play of ours?
Now, if you looked at the official script, it might define an economy as a system for producing, distributing, and consuming goods. Okay, but what does that really mean for us? Well, the source material puts it perfectly. At the end of the day, it's just the way people make money and the way they spend it. That's it. That's the whole story right there.
And this little image? It's the perfect opening scene. Imagine there are just two characters in our entire world, a factory, and some guy we'll call Mr. A. The factory makes stuff, and Mr. A buys it, so Mr. A gives the factory money. Simple enough, but here's the twist. Mr. A also works at that same factory, which pays him a salary. See that? It's this perfect little loop, and believe it or not, it's the foundation for everything else that's about to happen.
All right, the premise is set. Now it's time to meet our cast of characters. These are the main players, the ones who really drive all the action on our economic stage.
First up, in the starring role, it's you and me, all of us. In the language of economics, we're called households. We are the main consumers in this entire play. We're the ones deciding what to buy, how much to save, and where we're going to work. We're kind of the main characters.
And our co-star, that would be the firm, or what you can just think of as the producer. These are the characters who make literally everything we use and buy, from the coffee we drink in the morning to the apps on our phones. And what's their main motivation? Earning a profit.
And look, firms aren't just these huge, faceless corporations. A firm could be your local baker making fresh biscuits, it could be a weaver creating fabric, or a tailor down the street making a custom suit. They are all producers, and they're all absolutely key members of our cast. Now, every good play needs a director, right? Someone who sets the rules and just makes sure the whole production actually runs smoothly. In our economy, that's the government. It acts as the regulator, provides stuff we all need like roads and schools, and sets the policies that all the other actors have to play by. And of course, no show is completely self-contained. We also have visiting troops or guest stars. The foreign sector. This is basically every other country we do business with. They bring in cool new props like the coffee beans for our morning cup, and they give our own firms a global stage to sell their stuff. They really add a whole new layer of drama and opportunity to our play.
Okay, so we've met the whole cast. Now, let's get to the juicy part, the plot. How do all these characters actually interact with each other? This, my friends, is where the action really heats up.
The main story, the central drama, is all about this great exchange between our two lead actors, households and firms. It's this constant give and take. One side offers up their time and their money, and the other side offers up products and paychecks in return.
So let's take a closer look at the household side of the conversation. We provide our labor, our skills and time. We hand over our cash when we buy things. The money we put into savings helps fund new business ideas. And yeah, we pay taxes, which keeps the director, our government, in business.
And what do the firms say back? Well, they provide all the amazing goods and services we want to buy. They pay us wages for our work. They create jobs for us to do. And they keep the market full of interesting new things. It really is a beautifully balanced dialogue, isn't it?
So check this out, because this is where it all comes together. This is the big plot twist. It's not a straight line. It's a circle. Households give their labor to firms. The firms use that labor to make goods, which they then sell right back to the households. The money just keeps flowing around and around in this continuous loop. This circular flow is the engine that drives the entire play, and it shows just how connected we all are. I mean, think about it. If households stop spending, firms can't pay their workers. And if firms stop hiring, households don't have any money to spend. Every single actor's performance impacts everyone else on stage.
So, we've got our cast and we've got our plot, but where is all this drama taking place? Well, our economic play unfolds across three very distinct stages, or what economists like to call sectors.
The action basically moves through three stages. It all kicks off in the primary sector, which is all about getting raw materials straight from nature. We're talking farming, mining, that kind of thing. Then, the scene shifts to the secondary sector. This is where we take those raw materials and actually manufacture them into something new. And finally, everything culminates in the tertiary sector, which is all about providing services.
And this is just a perfect example from the source. Up top, you see a farmer working a field. That's the primary sector in its purest form. And right below that, you've got a baker making biscuits, probably from the wheat that farmer grew. That's a perfect shot of the secondary sector in action, turning that raw material into a finished product.
So this chart kind of breaks it all down for us, nice and neat. And what's really fascinating is how the source material gives us names for the workers on each of these stages. People in the primary sector doing that hands-on outdoor work, they're called red-collar workers. Manufacturing folks are blue-collar, and service workers, like in an office, are white-collar. So the type of work you do literally defines the costume you wear in the play. Pretty cool, huh?
And scene. That pretty much brings us to the end of our performance. So let's take a quick moment for the review to think about what we just saw and really understand why this whole play matters so much.
You know, if this play had a tagline, this quote from our source would be it. An economy isn't just about big numbers and confusing charts on the news. It's a system that fundamentally enables people to earn their living. At its heart, it's about survival, about opportunity, and about creating a good life.
And that's the big takeaway here. Once you understand the cast, us, the firms, the government, and the plot, that circular flow of money and goods, and the setting, those three sectors, you stop being just some person in the audience. You become an informed actor who actually gets your part in this huge, interconnected show that we are all a part of.
So, as the curtain comes down, I'm going to leave you with this one final thought. You're not just watching this economic play from the chief seats. You are one of the stars. You're a consumer, you're a worker, a saver, maybe even an innovator. So now that you know the script a little bit better, the only question